Now then, welcome to the latest edition of Red Army TV. Here in Yaff's Gaff, I've got two fantastic friends of mine, as well as two great guests to chat all things Borough. Got Mr. Paul Edwards, Billy Town manager, great friend of mine, and his son and heir, Curtis Edwards, midfield maestro. Now let me get this right, Curtis. Hugh Gordon, which is a Swedish team, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, correct.
I'm sure we'll chat about that in a minute. Look, fellas, it's great to have you in.
Good to be here.
I've been trying for a long time to get you in, and we've got you in. But anyway, look, we're going to chat about the Borough, and there's not a... I'm going to try and keep as upbeat as I can. But look, Swansea 3, Borough 1. Paul, going to start with you, mate. Obviously, I thought, when we kicked off, first 10 minutes, I thought the Borough were playing really well and pegged them back. Is that the story of our team? Do we start well and then fade off?
I think it was lively. I think the gaffers obviously got into them in the dressing room to get out there and impose themselves, you know. And I think for 10, 12 minutes, it looked like, well, we're going to have a game here. And then sort of, I don't know whether Swansea booked up or we just laid off a bit and they got back into it. But yeah, I think it's been the scene for about a month now, the same.
Yeah. And look, I've got to chat about the penalty. You know, I was on the social show with Phil last week. And I didn't think that Dale Fry had done much wrong for the penalty. But obviously, there's people on the fence.
It looked clumsy to me.
Yeah.
It looked clumsy. He gave the ref... well, if he hadn't went and just stood, then the ref can't make a decision. But because he's went there, and I think Ayew was clever, you know. He put his foot where his foot was coming and sort of knew there was going to be contact. So I think it was just clumsy more than out else.
Curtis, I don't know whether it's a player that you've played with, Dale Fry, but there was big talk of Dale being probably going to be our most expensive player this year, and potentially we could sell him on for money and things like that. Hasn't started off really well though, has he?
No, I think there was a lot of talk that a big offer was going to come in for him, and he's a new talent, and it's nice to see. And but the team hasn't been doing too well, so that's maybe where it's hard for him as well. But he's still young and he can still improve, and he can get better, I think.
Now, Paul, I'll talk about the Tav goal. I'm trying to be nice about Tav because he's a lovely lad. He's really busy.
Yeah.
But I never ever get to see like any end product, and then the goal comes.
Yeah.
Is that a once in a blue moon goal, that, or has he got that in his locker?
I think he has got it in his locker. I mean, if you're going to be overly critical, would you say the keeper could have done a bit better? But it was a great strike. But I think it's another thing with young lads, isn't it, that it's getting that consistency. So is he hitting the target consistently? Is he getting the right crosses in? And I think maybe he needs to do 4 or 5 of them in a season, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a great goal.
Yeah. And I mean, Woodgate said after the game that at 1-1, Curtis, there was probably only one team going to go on and win it. Now, is that how you've seen it? Or was that being a bit ambitious?
I just think he has to come out and give his players some encouragement, and he doesn't want to come out and batter them. He needs to be on side with them because they need to stick together at the minute when it's going bad, and it doesn't help when you get 2 men sent off. So he has to come out and he has to protect them, I think. So I think he's clever actually doing that. Yeah,
I mean, look, we'll come on to the sends off, but Paul, did you think that Woody got it right? Did you think that he sort of, came out and protected the players there, or?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, you're a manager, mate, so.
Yeah, and some people do it different. Some people hammer the players and just put it out there. I think that the predicament Woody's in at the minute, he doesn't want to do that, and especially for younger players. But I mean, the player's got to take it on himself. He sort of made the decision for the referee. He's not in control of himself. He's left the floor. So all boards to see you later. You're going down the tunnel, mate. So I think he let his team and the club down, and maybe sometimes later on the season, if it happens, Woody might come out and put a marker down, But I think at the minute he's just got the job. Doesn't probably want to upset too many people. Where I might have dealt with it different, especially because the predicament we're in, we need everyone to be like consistently concentrating, not letting people down. So,
but I mean, we seen it a couple of weeks back, didn't we, with Marvin Johnson? I know what I think about that. It's players who can't tackle, mate. That's what it is. You know, well, it is unfortunately. You know, Marvin Johnson can't tackle, and obviously for me, Marcus Brown has shown that. Let alone he's a little bit petulant, because you know, and I do forget the guy's name who wound him up. But you could see right from him coming on, he was wound up. He was trying to get into the game. It doesn't bode well, does it, for the future? A player who, by the way, some of our fans are sat on the fence with him, saying, "Well, actually, he's a League One player. You know, you've got to prove yourself in the Championship first." Yeah. Is that what you think?
Yeah, you can't. Like you said, he's petulant. He seems younger than what he is, you know, in his mindset. And to go out and prove a point, just get the basics done right. Yeah. Get the basics done right and let your football do the talking. But at the minute, he just seems to be a bit all over the place.
Let's have a look at the social media, because obviously we're going out on Facebook Live and obviously Teesside TV as well, fellas, and obviously people interacting. It's great that people get involved. I've just seen one there. Joe McPartland just said Eddie for Borough. There we go. I will be shouting that straight after this.
Cheers, Joe.
Ed. Nick Matthews says, what's Paul's thoughts on Woody heading straight to on holiday on Sunday morning, given the club's current situation? Had a photo with him and a bit of a chat. His disappointment and anger was clear to see, but he's putting enough hours in to get it right. What's your thoughts? Basically, what happened was Woody went off to Centre Parks on Sunday with his family. Now, look, everyone's entitled to a break, aren't they? Ed?
Yeah. I mean, again, different managers do it different ways. Some will be proper old school and they'll probably cancel holidays, the predicament they're in, cancel players' holidays, cancel players' Christmas nights out. Woody's took it on himself to say, look, he can't have it affecting his home life as well, you know. He's a human being. Yeah. He's got a family, he's got a missus. So I've got no against that. As long as he's putting the hours in and he's preparing his team properly and it doesn't interfere with that, I don't think we should cascade into that. Like. Yeah.
So, look, obviously that's the Brown sending off. We're going to come on to the McNair sending off really, really shortly. But just one for you, Curtis. What's the, obviously in the Swedish league, mate, what's the discipline like over there? Obviously, we've just seen 2 sendings off for the Borough. A couple of weeks ago, Marvin Johnson sent off. We haven't got a really good discipline record, the Borough, at the minute. What's the discipline like over there? And what would your gaffer have said to you?
You wouldn't be getting away with that over there, like that tackle from Brown. It was reckless, and it was already on a yellow as well. Yeah. So even if it wasn't a straight red, he's getting a yellow because he's high and it is reckless. So. Yeah, maybe he's a bit frustrated, you know, like you say, he hasn't played so much and he's coming into the game and he wants to prove himself, but hopefully this will like give him an idea of what he'd expected.
Do you think that's got a part of it as well, the fact that he hasn't, obviously Woody's brought him in as one of his main 3-1, he brought Bowler in, Brown and that Dyke Steele. Yeah. I'm on the fence with 2 of them, to be fair. Dyke Steele, I see flashes of brilliance, to be fair, but then I look at it and think, has he got it to do it all season? But do you think that's also it? Do you think he's thinking to himself, I need to impress here, I need to go out there and I need to do something?
Yeah, and he's doing it in the wrong way sometimes, you know. But again, it's levels. The Championship's a tough league. It's not easy to just come in. It's one under the Premier League. It's not like a League Two, you know. And when the club's not at its best and the squad's not at its best, and we've lost a lot of experienced players as well, you know. So I think he just needs to settle him down a bit and have a quiet word with him, you know. So,
obviously Swansea go on and score 2 more goals without even going into the Randolph saga because, you know, because I'm boring, as you know I read loads of football stuff, you know, and I've been reading about Randolph leaving our club for nigh on 4 months now. And people just brush it off, you know. But young Pears in goal, what do we make of him, Ed? You know, do we think he's got a future? Better man, we've given a good keeper away in Connor Ripley, didn't we? You know.
Yeah.
You know, do you think he's got a chance of being number 1?
What I've seen of him, I think, yeah, he has. But is it too early for him to push him in when we're like this? You know, I mean, if he comes anywhere close to his dad, who I used to support when I used to go, you know, then we're fine. Because he was a great goalkeeper, Persy, but. What I've seen of him, he seems decent. Is he at that age should he be shoved in as a number one? I don't think so at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Is he a stopgap until we find that one? I think, yeah, and I think over the years, he looks like he's got all the attributes to be a number one, you know, but I think the predicament we're in, I would go for a more experienced guy at the moment.
Well, we know that Woody wants to sort of bred the youth in, and whether that's, you know, for this season will remain to be seen. Look, fellas, get yourselves a drink. There's still stuff coming in on the old social media. We'll come back after this break and we'll chat about McNair sending off, because there's been a bit of some news on the appeal which we'll have a chat about. Join us in a few short minutes on RATV. We'll be chatting more Borough. Hi, welcome back to Red Army TV. Got Paul and Curtis in the snug, chatting all things Borough. Fellas, just before we went to the break there, we were chatting about the sending off, the second sending off. Now, I can confirm, obviously, Borough's appeal for McNair's red card has actually been upheld, so he will be getting a 3-match ban also, which obviously in the current situation, Paul, we could do without. But look, I'll come to you first, mate. Did you think it was a sending off when you first seen it?
The first seen it, I didn't. When I've looked back, you can class it as a stamp, and I think that's what the ref's seen. But I don't think it helps that he's got how many people screaming at him. The bench is in uproar in his eye line as well. So he's already under the impression. The way he went with his whistle, I knew he was going to red him. I just knew he did. And I think McNair's got to give himself. He's give the ref that opportunity with the way he went in. Some people thought it was an elbow, but I thought it was a stamp when I seen it.
Yeah. I mean, when I seen it, I thought it was an initial stamp, but I have obviously read press and blogs where they think he's leant in with his elbow as well. But you are right; it was right in front of both dugouts. The fourth official was there, although there's no sort of clarification that the fourth official pressed his buzzer on his flag or anything like that to inform the referee. Apparently, it was the referee, Curtis, who's seen that and come straight over. Should McNair, international player, should he know better?
He should, yeah, but you can see he has a lot of determination in his play. Like, he's one of the players who wants to get around people, and maybe he didn't mean to go in like that, but it happens. And I think with Borough appealing it as well, that we have 2 massive games coming up, so if they could have won that, we'd have him, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it was wise that they can appeal it, because if we'd have got him for Stoke, it'd have been massive. But
so yeah. I've got a guy, just going to social media, fellas, I've got a guy called Jamie Poole, who's, you're laughing there, Ed, because he's asking, saying, can you ask Paul Edwards why they had to practice throw-ins for 30 minutes yesterday? His hands are killing him. I'm presuming that's a private joke, mate, and you've been doing throw-ins back at Billy Town, have you?
Jamie just wound me up. Probably because he can't kick, so I thought he'd better use his hands.
So, look, I hate to use the words look forward to, because this season, fellas, but Curtis has just alluded to it there, 2 big games coming up. One's on Friday night under the lights, live on TV. Stoke City, Paul. Is that a must-win game for Woody?
I don't think... Listen, he's at that point now where if he doesn't pick points up, it's going to get worse. And before long, because it's a results business, yeah? So he's a local lad and all that. I think it is critical, but I don't think it's the end of Woody if he doesn't pick up 3 points against Stoke. It's a massive game. The next 2, because obviously you've got Stoke Friday night, then you've got Huddersfield, and then you're playing West Brom, and West Brom are flying. Yeah. So I think the next 2 games, he's got to get 3 points out of the 2 for me.
Curtis, would you say that, look, that there's people sat on the fence both sides of it. If he doesn't get 4 points out of the next 2 games, could it be the last we see of Jonathan Woodgate as a Borough gaffer?
Personally, I hope not. But like he's just said, you have to get results, and then if we don't get results from these next 2 games, teams that are around us, then you have to start thinking, when's it going to come? But I hope not. I hope he's in it for a long time, because now we have to look, what do we expect from this season now? We're 30 points from the top. We're 15 points from to the playoffs, and it's like, what's our expectations? I'd be happy now with us. We're bringing through some youth. We're giving people games. Ainsley Pears, Tavernier, they're all playing. Let's see what we can do. If we can survive the league, then they've got experience. Then we can go and shop. We don't have much money to go shop. We can go and bring in some decent players where Woody's been with the players this season. He's got Keane with him. I think they'll do well.
So, I mean, Stoke, Paul, let's concentrate on Stoke. I mean, obviously, I think they're currently 3 points below us. Theoretically, if we get beat on Friday night, mate, they're going to leapfrog us.
Yeah, and me personally, I think Stoke are in a false position.
Yeah.
I don't think Stoke have any fear of going down. I just don't. I think that when you look at their squad, they're a strong squad. We need to get something out of the game. Me personally, I think it's going to be a draw. You're probably going to ask me in a bit. I think it's going to be a draw.
Just would a draw be suffice for the fans though, mate? That's my question.
Not at the moment, no, because obviously we all want to be winning games. But then, like Kurt said, we've got to look at it, you know. We need to pick up points here and there. I think, yeah, the fans will think, Stoke at home, we've got to win. We've got to pick this 3 points up. And I think for me, he's got to get somewhere where he wins a game or two back to back with whatever he puts out, whatever formation he does, and goes from there. At the minute, I just don't see it coming.
Is there people out there, like Paul just said, Kurt, do you think there's people out there saying that Borough are in a false place? Or do you think we're exactly where we deserve to be?
No, I think if you look at throughout the team, the depth and everything, it's only going to get tougher, and I think we'll just survive this season. I think like Pulis done a great job and everyone wanted him out and we want better, but I don't think we're in a false position, but I think we'll definitely stay up. That's why I think you should give Woodgate more time to spend with the players, get the youth through and go from there, and hopefully in a year's time it can be, yeah, we kept hold of him and we'll be doing okay.
Well, let's have a quick look on the old social media and see what people have got to say. Joe McPartland saying it was a blatant elbow, so Joe thinks that it was the elbow. Yeah. Like I say, when I initially saw it, I thought it was the stamp, but Joe reckons it's the elbow. Michael Dumbrell saying 4 points out of 3 games for me, so he thinks if we can get 4 points out of the next 3 games, bear in mind the third game is West Brom. Which, like you say, mate, they are flying. I would write that off, to be honest, but we'll see. And the last one thing, and the last one saying is, do you think Woody had the credentials for the job? And they're asking you, Paul. Do you think Woody had the credentials? Now, I know we had a chat just before we came on air.
Yeah. How do you look at it? So I look at it, and I've been a Borough fan. I started watching the Borough in '82. I think I went to my first game in '83. Woody, if you look at it, what he's done and what he's been about the game, like I said to you off air, he's got all the credentials to go into management. He was a top player, top player, and if he didn't get the injuries he got, he would have been one of England's best centre-halves in my eyes. He played for some massive teams, yeah. He went to Real Madrid. He's played under great managers, so he's got all the credentials in his book.
Yeah.
And is it too big a job for the start of his career? I don't think so. I just think, like Curtis said, I want to see Woody do well.
Yeah.
I do. He's got to go through a rough patch because any manager who's following the gaffer who was previous was going to have a rough patch. We're not going to have the money to go out and buy our way to success. So I think the next 1-2 seasons are going to be rough for Borough fans. But me personally, you could go and get the most experienced guy in the world. It doesn't mean he's going to bring success to the club. So in my eyes, I think credential-wise, like Gerrards and your Lampards, yeah, they've won loads of stuff, but they were decent players. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. And Woody, without his injuries, would have won medals like them guys. So I'm a Woody backer at the minute. Yeah, I don't want it to go January, February, and we look like we're going to join Sunderland. Because as a Borough fan, that'd hurt me. But I just think stick with him and let's give him a bit more time. But time is running out, you know.
Curtis, I've said a couple of times over a few shows, and look, I'm the same. You know, my Borough team as a kid was like 85 onwards team. Yeah. And Mowbray was a big part of that from the 86 onwards. And I thought Mowbray was thrown under the bus a little bit at this club. And the worst part of I've ever seen as a Borough fan was watching young Borough fans slate him as he was walking down the tunnel, and I mean slate him. It broke my heart, to be fair. Do you think Woody's been thrown under the bus a little bit? Or do you think, like any Borough, I mean, I'd take the job tomorrow. I'm sure you would, but, you know, he's not going to turn it down, is he?
Nah, I think even towards the end of last season when people wanted Pulis out, he must have lit up in his head that I can do it. And like you're saying, homegrown men, you're not going to say no to it. And he knew it would be tough. And he wanted to bring his own way of playing, and he didn't want to play the Pulis way and all this. But yeah, I think he knew what he was coming into, and I don't think he thinks it would have been easy. But he's ready for it. I think he'll keep fighting all the way to the end.
Great. Well, fellas, look, time is nearly upon us. Very quickly, I just want a quick word answer. Stoke Friday night. What's your prediction?
1-0.
1-0. Curtis.
2-0 Borough with nearly full Riverside, Black Friday, why not?
I'll tell you what, I've got everything crossed.
I hope they win though, 1-0, but I hope they win.
Because I'll tell you what, I haven't watched the Borough score 2 yet. I don't know. But look, fellas, it's great to have you in.
Thanks for having us.
Two local lads, done well, really great to see you. And I finally got you on in the set anyway. That's excellent. Look, here at Red Army, we wish you all a fantastic Christmas, great New Year. Hope you'd have a good one, and hopefully more points for the Borough in 2020. See ya.